My friends, if you don't accept that you are alone and that life sucks and that reality is very disappointing, then you're going to be so unfortunately disappointed, and life's going to suck even more for you than if you embrace the fact and you expect it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheared podcast. I'm your host, Austin Creed, and my friends, today's show is going to be a little different. The reason I say that is because it's honestly really late for me when I'm recording this. You know what? I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. I wasn't planning on doing it. Reason being, not because I didn't want to, because I've been feeling sick, number one, been having family over, number two. And number three, it's more personal business, women issue. But, my friends, I had a realization moment not long ago, and it made me realize to myself, no, I gotta do a show. You know why? Somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this. I don't know if it's one of those amazing couple supporters I have who are fantastic, by the way, or if it's somebody who's never listened to the show before. They need to hear this. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is somebody needs to hear it. And that's why I'm not going to show videos though. I'm going to do just a short little encouragement episode. My friends, we as men, we got to accept reality, what it is. Disappointing. I could sit here and tell you that, oh, don't worry, stuff gets better. No, that doesn't always get better. No, it honestly. I'm getting into one of those moods, and I have this every once in a while. Listen to me for any longer than, last couple months, you'll know this to be true. But I go through these ups and downs ever since I told the story earlier this week, actually. I was in a mental hospital for 28 days a couple years ago. I was still in the military, and that was when I hit rock bottom. And every once in a while, those old feelings tend to come back. Why? Because reality is not disappointing. It's easy for guys on the side of the internet to talk about all these 304s be tripping, and I get it. They are. They totally are. But let me tell you something right now. If all you're focusing on is women, sorry man, but you're doing your life wrong. Women will always be there. They're always at the end of the finish line. For those of you who are actually willing to put in the work and do something with your life and not just sit around not doing jack. My friends, I was talking to one of my best friends, and he told me that one of my friends who I've known for years, he's been out of work, he wants a girlfriend, he can't find one, and he's been down on his luck, he's not having a good time. And I thought to myself, how many dudes are in that position right now? How many men, show of hands, have been down and out, they've been down bad, and they wish that somebody was there to help them. They wish that somebody was there to bail them out. There was a woman there to help build with them. Women don't want to build anymore. The only time they ever did that, back in the day when they had no choice. But today, they can do whatever they want. They can go on the internet and make millions of dollars and parlay it into real estate. I saw a thing on Twitter today talking about how I think it's like 2040, BlackRock and OnlyFans skeezers will own like 69% of the market in real estate. I think I'm making it up. I wish I was. My friends, we need to really realize that life sucks. And once we accept that life sucks, it gets easy. Once we accept the fact that reality is harsh, unforgiving, and then at the end of the day, it's not going to get better for us. We just have to deal with it. We have to adapt to it. That's why I preach this message, especially around the church, because the church is disappointing. The church is always going to tell men to man up, and the women can get away with whatever the hell they want because they're women. I mean, women don't act like human beings. No, they're closer to angels in the minds of these schmucks. And so we gotta get used to that. You have to get used to the fact that most men are gumps and simps, and they're gonna side with women, and they're never gonna see your side. Ever. No matter how much sense you make, no matter how many times you try to explain it rationally, they won't listen to you. They'll think you're crazy, they won't listen to you. The women will gaslight you in thinking that you're crazy, even though you can see it with your eyes. And don't even get me started on the economy. The economy sucks. Before long, AI is going to take over everything, except for the very small majority of jobs, and you're going to be stuck with nothing. I hope I'm wrong about that. Truthfully, I do. But I guarantee you I'm not. And my friends, look, we need to understand that reality is harsh, unforgiving. And the minute that we accept this, we move on, we get it. We don't just sit there and play the, oh, my life sucks. It's not fair, blah, blah, blah. It gets better. Because once you accept that, you can move differently, operate differently. And once you do that, your life will be better. Because then you'll understand that I'm not going to fall in love with a woman because love doesn't exist the way that I've been told it exists. The contract, symbiotic relationship. Well, as long as you're benefiting her, she'll benefit you. State's there to enforce that contract and hold you accountable because you're most likely going to make the most money. Look, I understand this doesn't sound what you wanted to hear today, probably. This is probably a very tough pill to swallow. I understand that. But guess what? This is reality, and it's very disappointing. As Thanos said, one of my favorite villains of all time, he said that reality is often disappointing. But now reality could be whatever he wanted because he had the reality stone. You don't have a reality stone. What do you have to do? You gotta deal with the fact that life sucks. You're not gonna get what you want, what the normies have told you that you're gonna get. You're not gonna get it. Or you're gonna work your whole life to get a fraction of what they've told you should. And once you get that, it's not gonna be all that you think it's gonna be. There's a quote, I think, by Jim Carrey, where he says, I wish everybody would get everything they ever wanted just to prove how empty it is. That resonate with anybody? You ever achieved something and then you're like, well, okay, guess I'll go on to the next thing, I guess. My friends, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking low because I don't want to yell. If I yell, it's gonna. I don't want to yell right now because I feel like it's gonna derail the whole conversation. Once you embrace the fact that you're alone in this life, yeah, you might have some close friends and that's fantastic. But once you stop playing the game with them, once you stop playing poker with them, once you stop hanging out at their house, once you stop being a good time Charlie, those times are going to start to decline. Before you know it, you're going to be alone. And if you don't master this before you're on your own completely, whether you're in high school, you're just out of high school, you're in college, or you're getting out of college, I'm here to tell you, everybody out here will almost without exceptions trying to get you. And once you accept that, you can move forward. You can adapt. You can move differently, operate differently. That's why I don't advocate for marriage. Because especially in Western countries, the whole thing is set up against you. And it's not going to help you. And once you accept that, you can move differently. In Coach Greg Adams' words, you can go to the junior college. You can have transactional relationships as long as you're not breaking the law. You can have girlfriends but not have long-term ones, have multiple. I don't care what you do. You do whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. But understand that love, the desire to have everything for nothing or to do as little as possible and get the most money, life doesn't work that way. And it never will. And the more you try to force life to look like that, the more insane you're going to feel, the more you're going to drive yourself crazy. Accept the fact that you're going to work super hard. You're probably going to have to depend on yourself more than anybody else by a long shot. You might as well get to know yourself and care about yourself a little bit, invest in yourself. And you're not going to have a love child unless you want to risk child support, alimony, you name it, or abuse claims or anything else. And that's just the unfortunate realities that we're living in. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Some of you are living through this right now and you told me as much. My friends, the one thing I've learned in this life is you have to be on your own team. You have to make sure that you are advocating for yourself. Because there's an old saying that I really like. I think it was Confucius who said it. I could be wrong. But he said, if I'm not for myself, who will be? But if I'm only for myself, then who am I? Powerful words, isn't it? My friends, if you don't accept that you are alone and that life sucks and that reality is very disappointing, then you're going to be so unfortunately disappointed and life's going to suck even more for you than if you embrace the fact and you expect it. Because maybe you might be surprised and it might not be that bad. But you have to accept this reality You're going to have to work really hard for the things you get. No one's going to hand you something. Nothing is free. Anytime you ever hear that something is free, you know they're conning you, or they're stupid, or both. My friends, I encourage you to work really hard. I encourage you to embrace the fact that life sucks, and maybe it doesn't suck for you. You know, maybe you're a lucky person. You're the exception, you're not the norm. So I'm encouraging you today, through probably the darkest means possible, to focus on the things you can control. Focus on the areas of your life that you want to improve on, and do those things. Focus on the things you can control, and things you can't control, either fix it or get over it. Stop worrying about things you can't do anything about. That's only going to drive you crazy. My friends, I know I said this at the beginning of the show, but I felt in my soul that somebody needed to hear this today. Or maybe it was me. Maybe I needed to say this today. Because let me tell you something. If you ever show your belly to somebody, most likely they're going to shove a knife in it. They're going to shaft you. They're going to pull a Brutus on you. Just be aware of that. My friends, I'm not saying this so that you can be bitter and hurt or call me bitter and hurt or anything else. I'm saying this because as men, we have to stop being vulnerable. We need to be resilient, strong men who tell other men this truth. That nobody is on your team as a man, and everybody's competing with you, everybody's out to get you, and you get nothing for free. And I really hope that this encourages you, just like dark humor people find funny, I hope that this dark truth helps encourage you. To control the things you can control, focus on the things that are in your direct area of influence, and then those things are what matter in your life. Your family, your close friends, the things you've built, that's what matters. Not the stuff you can't control, women, politics. No, you can't control those things. What you can control is you, your reaction, and the people you surround yourself with. My friends, I think I'll leave it there. I think I'm getting repetitive at this particular point, but if you have anything you want to share, you want to chime in, you want to add anything to the conversation, I'd love for you to do that. Let me know if there are any topics that any of you are really affected by. I know that this is an election year cycle that's coming up. A lot of propaganda is being put out there about Ukraine, Israel, the George Floyd stuff. All this is very interesting, and a lot of it's very controversial. So if there's anything, whether it's that, whether it's women, whether it's whatever, you want more of this, I'm happy to do it. My friends, please let me know what you think, what matters to you and what you want to hear more of, because I have stuff in the pipeline, but I'm always interested to hear what matters to you, my loyal audience, and people who are part of this community. My friends, you take care of yourselves. I hope this encouraged you and didn't depress you too much. It wasn't my intention. But you take care of yourselves. I'm out of here.